The most recent Yu-Gi-Oh format is coming to a close. It's been a little bit of a drag, I guess you could say. But with a fresh new list, brings fresh new energy to the game. I'm sure you've already seen all your favorite content creators and their reactions. I'm sure they've got great insight on how the game's gonna pan out. I've been especially looking forward to Ruxin34 and his thoughts.
I get an update. Hey, all these notifications, Banlist, go react, because you know, that's what I do. It's like my whole channel is about Banlist reaction.
Who knew the only thing standing in our way to a brand new Forbidden Limit list was Peeps Yu-Gi-Oh tweeting about it. All it took for us to finally get it was for him to shut the fuck up. So now that you've heard what everybody else thinks, I'm sure you don't give a shit what I think. But, and this is the first time you guys will ever hear this chat, I care what you think about the new Forbidden Unlimited list. Today, I want to go through every single change on the new Forbidden Unlimited list, which goes into effect in 2 days. And I want to rate it on a scale of 1 through 5 with chat. Everybody gets a vote. This is democracy. We're going to truly decide if this is the list the people wanted. The first change to talk about is Link Karibo, going from 3 to 0. Link Karibo was, I think, one of the main sort of cogs in making pure Snake Eyes a deck. Not that I think it won't be a deck after this Forbidden Unlimited list, but I know a lot of combos focused around sending one of your level 1 monsters off the field, replacing it with Link Karibo. Not only that, it could come back later as sort of battle disruption, but also that was one of your better ways into SP. I'm willing to say this is like a 5-star change. I think hitting a lot of generic cards that end up making these strategies sort of float together or could be problems in the future is beneficial. Chat seems to think it's a pretty good one too. 4 to 5 stars, I'd say that classifies as a banger. The second hit to talk about though, Baron de Fleur. This one is a big fucking deal. I would say this is one of the most ubiquitous synchro monsters in the game. A generic level 10 that's able to 1 per turn negate was just too much for decks to handle. Decks that could set this up early could insulate their combos. A lot of decks focused on doing that. One of the best cards I'd say we ever seen in the game. Seems to be split amongst either a 3 or a 5-star change. I don't know a lot of players that like want to play like offbeat strategies and stuff like that. That don't involve making Baron de Fleur. I know a lot of people could get frustrated at seeing these sort of homogenous end boards that just end up being the same thing that you can't break no matter what deck you play. I like what it means for the future of the game. I don't like what it's been sort of replaced with, which we'll get into in a little bit. So this one might go pretty hand in hand with the Baron de Fleur. Boarload Savage Dragon is also now forbidden. A common end board in like pure Snake Eye or other decks like Dragon Link would be end on Savage Baron. We just talked about how samey boards like that can be pretty frustrating to play against. But let's see if chat still thinks this is another 5-star change. Okay, wait. The Baron de Fleur hit was like almost 60%. Why is this one spread out a little bit more over the place, guy? Chat seems to think that this one isn't nearly as good as Baron and shouldn't have got the Banhammer. But generic board setups, I think they all belong under the list. I would tend to stray towards like the 4-star rating for this one. Like I said, it's hard to think anything less than the Baron rating. If everybody in chat doesn't rate 5 stars, keep an eye on the one person that gives us a 1-star rating. Summon Limit, dubbed as Fun Limit, has finally gone to 0. This card's miserable, man. Definitely in some of the last YCSs, you've seen this card absolutely determine games on its own. I think cards should not be able to do that. It's live. I expect to see plenty of 5s. Okay, don't go rating it 1 star now that I made fun of it. As you can see, 80% of chat thinks so as well. 5 stars. Removing the Fun Limit from the game was definitely the right choice. All right, that's it for the Forbidden cards. All of them. All 4 bangers. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should do like an in-between. Let's do a rate the category. Altogether, banger Forbidden section. Banger Forbidden section. All these names I'm really happy to see at 0. Let's move on to the limited. Guys, there's some crazy cards that have gone to 1. Arch Nemesis Protoss has gone from 0 to 1 with the new list. We essentially traded Summon Limit for another really annoying Floodgate card. I'm curious to see what the aftermath is going to be with this. Vanity's Emptiness type effects, completely locking your opponent out of one of the main pillars of the game, special summoning, just makes very bad gameplay loops. I don't know if calling Dark's the right attribute though, chat. What do you think? Do you think people are going to be able to call Fire with this? Chat doesn't seem to agree that it's a good change either, a 1-star. This one seemed like a shocker, and I still really can't even reason with it. Give it a week, I think people will realize that this is not the card they wanted back. The next change is a great one. I hope it's a sign of things to come. Tidal has been talked about as one of the best dragon rulers. Unfortunately, I don't think Water's doing too much right now. But there is a new set coming out that is water-based, right? The new set, Rage of the Abyss, hopefully gives a new injection into that archetype. I love it so much. I'd love to see water be a playable thing again. Hopefully they continue to play with the Dragon Ruler's numbers. I'd love to see us get to a time where they're all at 3, but having them all at 1 is a good start. I think this is a 5-star change. Banger. Banger change, bro. Title to 1. Love it. New Floodgate monster discovered. Thunder Dragon Colossus, a cornerstone of an entire archetype, is finally released from its chains, 0 to 1. And this is like a huge deal. Thunder Dragon Colossus simply made an archetype possible because of its easy summoning condition. This is another one of those Floodgate monsters that we ended up trading these generic negates for, and I don't know if it's a way that I like to stray, just because I hate these types of monsters in general. I'm curious to see if anybody comes up with like a Danger Thunder Dragon list out of this, because that was one of the more enjoyable decks to play that involved Thunder Dragons. But like, I can only think of all the other stuff that comes with that. Like, is that deck just not what? They're going to play Protoss as well? And then all of a sudden, we're going to be dealing with boards of Shishao, Protoss, Colossus, and stuff? That sounds miserable. I've already let chat sort of vote on it, and it seems like this is another heavily disliked one. I like the artwork of the card. I'll say this boy looks fucking sick. But, I'm scared what he brings with him. Magispector Unicorn Kirin, the one on the cover here. This card has been banned for a very, very long time. That last line of text makes it really sticky and annoying to deal with, but also it's just a generic compulse that happens every single turn. Since you return it to your hand, you can just pendulum summon it out again, and it's a non-targetable, non-destructible interruption, at least. I'm unsure what to think this deck can do with its new support cards. I know Magispectors have gotten a little boost recently, but I'm unsure if this card alone makes an archetype out of it. I'm not a fan of pendulums in general, right? I'm not like the biggest pendulum soup guy, but I don't really foresee this making anything crazy at the moment. We also don't have Electromite still, and I think that's a big deal. Hopefully we never have Electromite. Great change. I'd say it's a 5-star, just because I like experimenting. Next card that got put from 0 to 1 is the Chicken Game Field Spell card. Curious to see what chat thinks about this one, because this one just left me saying, like why? Why? Card fucking promoted some of the most degenerate, like, FTKs being just a generic draw 1. One of the things that you just utilize it as is just like another like upstart goblin, right? It's just a free card that you can even slap another copy on yourself and draw. But having it at 1 makes it so it's like, what's even the point, right? Let me say, I don't really see Chicken Game breaking the game or doing anything like degenerate, but it's just a card that probably should just stay at 0. If you want my opinion, I rate this as a 1. Chat seems to be pretty split on it. All right, next one, I have a feeling is going to be another 5-star change. Anti-smell fragrance. I love it, Yu-Gi-Oh! I love it, Konami. Keep it up. With the floodgates, at least removing them from the game, limiting to it is essentially removing it. Let's be real here. I'm a fan. I consider it a 5-star. How many times, chat, how long did it take you to fully, like, understand how this card worked? Have you ever had somebody set a quick play and try to flip it on your turn with anti-spell? I still don't know how it works. Hey, you're not alone. You're not alone. Now, you'll never have to know. I think more people are smiling like this guy here, when there's less floodgates around. All right, let's get an all-together review on the limit section. The thing that I love about putting cards to 1 is that it promotes, like, experimentation. Some of the experimentation, I feel like, might be a little bit bad. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Protoss or Colossus, but everything else, I'm okay with. Title is super pog. Kirin, based. Chicken Game, you can keep that one. Toss Up is also the name of the game for chat. Nobody seems to know if they actually like it or not. On to the semi-limits. The first card that pops up here is Armageddon Knight. An absolute classic, bro. Bringing it back to its Edison format playable number. Armageddon Knight reads one simple line of text. When this card is summoned, send a dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. Not once per turn, very much a product of its time. This card was unbelievable when released in Phantom Darkness. Phantom Darkness kind of gave the perfect flurry of dark support cards, including a TCG exclusive Allure of Darkness, Dark Arm Dragon, and stuff. The game was truly really never the same after that set. Isolde's banned, isn't it, chat? That card's like actually banned, isn't it? Yeah, so now we don't really have a great way to be able to get this guy. And the only way I could imagine abusing him would be through like Zealantis or something like that. And what, you gonna send one more dark card? All right, cool to see it finally start to come off, but very mid-change, and chat seems to think so as well. Pearly Delicious Memory. which was previously at 1, has gone to 2. A little bit of help for the Pearly archetype. Interesting. I didn't think it would have really needed it. Delicious Memory is arguably, I think, the best one, I want to say. I've mentioned it before in the Master Duel video that we filmed the other day, but it affects the math on my friend Pearly. Being able to select 2 copies of Delicious Memory as opposed to 1 gives you an additional 33% chance to see that specific card, which could in turn set up your turn 1 plays. I think that's really exciting. I've always thought Pearly has been a pretty solid deck overall, and I'm curious to see what they can do with 2 of this card. I think in the hands of the right pilot, the Pearly deck could pose to be unbeatable. You just have to be good at the game. I would say this is probably like a 3-star change or a 4-star change. I'm curious to see if Pearly becomes a meta contender again right after this list. Let's see what you guys think of all the semi-limits altogether. All 2 of them, bro. I'd say it's giving 3. Yeah, very middle of the road here. 3-4 stars. This first change here is a wacky one, bro, because it never seems to stay. Destiny Hero Malicious is freed from 2 copies to 3 copies. This is the first time in, I think, years, bro. I want to say like 2019-ish or something like that, that we've been able to play with Malicious at 3 again. But it's a tale as old as time. It never truly seems to last. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon a Malicious from your deck. So now we're able to do that twice. We're able to pull out 2 6s over the course of these going to the graveyard. I think that could make for some really, really wild stuff. It's a lot of free material off of 1 card. I think this is like a 5-star change. I don't know. Is this the time that we think Malicious will stick around at 3, chat? What do we think? Put Malicious to 4? They won't? I'd love to see it. I think that'd be crazy. The next one, I don't think comes as a surprise to most people, but Orcus Harpur has gone back to 3. I think it's a little bit far from its heyday. I don't know if the archetype will actually be good. A man can dream, I suppose, but I like seeing it at 3. Does this put Orcus back at full power now, chat? Is it back at, like, I think there's no cards inhibited now, right? Full power. Full power Orcus. Just bring back the mermaid. I swear it's fine. One of my favorite archetypes of all time in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm curious to see if it actually pans out in TCG. I know some people were experimenting with like the horse cards and stuff to try to make something work. I don't think anything ever really came to fruition with that. I think it's a 5-star change, and clearly almost everybody in chat thinks so as well. Speedroid Terratop, which I believe has gone from 2 to 3 in the last list. Again, something that nobody could have saw coming, right? I'm pretty sure we've talked about this card at length, that it could come back, even with things that people thought would cause a problem, like MX Saber Invoker. A lot of the generic things that Terratop was able to do during the time of its ban, I remember a lot of people were playing Cherubini Water Enchantress type deck. A lot of those actually just generic decks have sort of crumbled anyways. Like the base strategies and stuff that were all tied together with generic cards like Halqifibrax and Auroradon and stuff, those don't exist anymore. So having a generic way to make Cherubini and get into Water Enchantress doesn't really spell the end of the game like it used to. This is a cool change to see it at 3, though. I think it's something that could have happened a long time ago. I just realized chat told me MX Saber Invoker's not in TCG. Why is it not? Why are we still waiting on that then? But this is a good change. I definitely think for sure this is a 5-star change. Excited to see what Speedroid does. No, I'm not. I don't think Speedroid will do anything. The last hit that we have to talk about on the new Forbidden Unlimited list is Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Back from 2 to 3. This puts Sky Striker at, unmistakably, full power again, right? Just like those Speedroids. Yeah, you guys know I'm a fan of this deck, right? So I'm biased. I love the Sky Striker deck. I like that it doesn't play like a typical Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but I'm always excited to see this deck back in the meta. I like it, seeing it top tournaments and stuff like that. 20 more years of Rainbow. I'm ready for it. I'm biased, though. I have to rate this a 5-star because I'm a huge fan of the archetype in general. And having their best draw card put back to 3 is a dream come true. I think this will promote a lot of people to pick up the deck and play again. And I think just more people playing the deck might give it some more representation at a YCS level. MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! Rates it 5 stars. Oh, man, bro. I don't know if we can listen to him, bro. Now, the all-important rating. We've seen all your favorite content creators either say, this is the greatest list I've ever seen. Oh, my God, I can't wait to play. Or, this list is terrible. I can't believe Konami would do something like that. Give me your honest rating on the entire ban list. 1 through 5 stars. Would you say this is one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban lists you've ever seen? One of the ones that we'll remember in history for the future? Or is this one that, come the next ban list, I'm going to forget that it even happened? Redox went to 1. Could have told me twice. I forgot about that one. I think this one's going to be pretty memorable. I think Banlist with a lot of changes, sweeping changes, especially a lot of generic ones, tend to be the ones that really shape up the format and give it a look at what we're going to see for like the next few months. However, I'm also very, very pessimistic and scared to see what replacing them with other Floodgate monsters is going to cause. Cards like Colossus and Protos scare me. Everything else, I'm just more curious. It was a 4-star rating from chat, everybody, by the way. Everybody seems to think this is a good one. You translate that to a percentage, that's like 80%. That's a passing grade.